doing? I'm very excited to make this video just because of what happened yesterday and what's been going on or transpiring as far as the end of September. But celestial rising, divine afternoon, and successful night to all mirages watching this observable message from, I was gonna say messaging, but observable message from higher places. It's your divine reflection, divine messenger, and we are back with another message. My beard keeps getting into my mouth. I need to cut it. But if you choose to and you enjoy these videos, make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more divine messages. And for today, we're just talking about what you can experience with this full moon. And I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm just going to go ahead and just get right into it. Because with this full moon, we are expecting a lot of things. Excuse me, and it's a harvest full moon in Aries as well. And no, we're not making that astrological video dissecting what the moon is. Excuse me, what the moon is and all the properties that it'll withhold, but we had to explain why the energies that you may be experiencing, why they're happening and how they're happening so quickly, and what you can do to see what's happening to where you can alchemize it, to where the energy that's being harvested from the mood altering satellite that's controlling the way people think about themselves, how you're able to bring that questioning towards you to where you're prepared for what's to come. Because many people are not able to magnify what they are witnessing because they still haven't felt what they went through in their past, to where that keeps on haunting them, as we can see today. And a lot of times what we see, because outside, as soon as you step outside, I see a full moon outside, and because the satellite is in the fuller false illumination as far as the nighttime or our truth in this chaotic format, it's showing us how to have not only be courageous but release all the things that we've been through, release all the negatives and the good that we've used to have, and prepare yourself for new energies, the good and bad, finding more clarity, being aware of the energy that's harvesting itself from you or itself, and then encouraging you to have introspection and be honest with yourself by stepping into an authenticity that can help align you with your path on the solar observation. Because of that too, it shows people that you have to speak your truth and be brave and courageous while doing that, and embrace your authenticity. So even if you have to confront yourself with uncomfortable emotions or external situations, be able to do that for yourself. And not only just that, and yes, I am doing my research as well. And not only just that, the introspection for the release as well. This energy will show you that you have to go within by doing the work inwards, internally. And then once you do that, you're going to invite a future session for yourself to observe and study with and about, to where you're learning about how to release underlying patterns and burdens and fears that you no longer need to hold on to. And then being able to attract anything that you want as far as putting into actions towards your manifestations. This can happen once you are taking more actions and you're pursuing things that you are passionate about. And as you're doing that, all the things that you desire can happen when you are putting in the work into visually seeing what your manifestations want you to attract. And, just quick little story times too. What I witnessed towards the end of September, somebody, I don't want to break that whole story down because I feel like it's meant for all social media, but I noticed a lot to where somebody came into our crib and ended up disrespecting my viewpoint on transhumanism or sexual inversion as far as transgenders in the celebrity world or whatever. And the whole point of that conversation, because it's not really important, but it's important to cover the fact that majority of society is genetically altered. And it blows my mind how my people care about so many different things and celebrities does not matter. But when somebody that's around me talks about how they look up to this celebrity, or they're infatuated by this celebrity, or they have a crush on this celebrity, I'm just asking the question, what if your favorite celebrity was a grown-ass man playing as a woman? And I was told from somebody, they said, well, I don't know about none of that, but that's a good-looking woman to me. So it's just like me asking questions. It goes to show that many people are okay with being, what's the word I'm looking for? They're okay with being head over heels for Baphomet experiments. And I can't get upset about that. But to come into my crib that I pay rent in, I pay my phone bill, insurance, I pay electricity, utilities, all these different things as a working class citizen, I pay for my end of the bargain to keep this stuff afloat. and somebody came into my crib, and I barely met this person, but she comes into my crib and says that my opinion is bullshit and just calling me a conspiracy theorist because I do the research. So by her even throwing out the word like transphobic or whatever the case may be too, and I said as well, I don't have a fear for transgenders. And she said, well, that's not what it means. And I was like, I understand you want me to have a hate for them, but in order for me to hate them, I would have to fear them, and I don't fear them. So transphobia and transphobic are in the same exact family, no matter how you branch their differences. But I can't hate on them when they're in my family. So every time I keep saying that, and I have a rebuttal for what somebody's telling me or name calling me to be, and it doesn't make sense to them, I tell them I can't be what you call yourself. I don't believe in conspiracy theories. I don't believe in the information or the sources that I look up or look into. So she was like, so what's the point of you even telling me, what you're showing me as far as sources and all that? Because you're doing the exact same thing. You had to go to Google to research what I was telling you. And you think as if Google will tell you about transhumanism or genetic altering or sexual inversion, and you can look up these books on Amazon. They're telling you in these books how they've been doing this stuff before World War I, before the Bible, before biblical time periods. So if humanity is sacrificed and they're pushing this normalization into altering the youth and their genetics and their gender, what do you think is happening right now as far as celebrities? And she was like, well, why? What are you trying to say about celebrities? Why do you think they have them in the first place? They need somebody to look up to their exact same mirage. These are mirrorings. So if society, humanity is mirroring the altering of genetics or the inversion of the costume, what do you think majority of humanity is living under? But I'm in the wrong for saying that. So once I realized that and I wasn't protected in my own household, I just seen where I stood with people and just in general, just on how I think, that's when I understood like, okay, now from this day forward, I'm going to just observe it. And the thing is too, it's a whole deeper story because that same exact person who disrespected me tried to come into my room and diminish the conversation of what went on, trying to ask me about my favorite anime, my favorite movies, my favorite show. Don't forget, in my kitchen, you disrespected me because I thought different from you, and now you want to have a kumbaya session? Because you feel bad, and you look stupid for what you did. And that's crazy as fuck. So, not only just that, realizing, just where I stand with people, and just realizing as well the exhaustion with energy. And what I realized as well, too, from yesterday, even just with my job in general, because I understood yesterday I got into a situation with a boy named Gunner and a boy named Jace. I know y'all remember a boy named Jace, who his cousin was Josiah at my other establishment when I was in Stone Mountain in Georgia. But now we got another Jace as well, who is he's a carbonated boy, by the way. I want to say brown skin, low-key darker skin tone. And Gunner is a European. And long story short, Gunner, his father basically, unfortunately, is not here. And Jace as well, his mother is not here. So it was towards the end of the day, and me and another coworker are in there. We're about to close up shop because it was winding down to having the kids leave. So I want to say it was less than 7 of them, around 6. But Gunner is the one, he's a bully. He's a chubby kid, no offense to him. But I mean, if you get tired when you walk 10 steps, that's a problem. If you're playing kickball and somebody kicks the ball to you and all you want to do is stand at the pitcher or the pitcher mound because you don't want to go get the ball and go run, that's a problem. If you pick on people or bully people just because your dad has passed away, that's a problem. If you scream at counselors, you stick your middle finger up and you're shouting and you're hitting things, you're throwing people's belongings just because of what happened to your dad, that's a problem. And basically, this boy, he was also bullying another kid named James, and supposedly a lot of these kids have autism. I didn't make a video on that because that's way too common to just throw out these different spectrums that many kids may not even fall under. But it's like these things are so normalized, it's like handing out candy to the youth or a popsicle to the youth. And Gunner stuck up the middle finger at James for some strange reason. But I can tell he was just getting worked up over a kickball game, and it wasn't that big of a deal. So the other coworker, she's been there, and she's a custodian lady as well, so she was cleaning up. She was saying, yes, it's time to go. And Gunner and Jace kept going back and forth, and Jace kept basically saying womp to Gunner because Gunner felt some kind of way about the kickball game and how somebody or James got out, but James wasn't listening. And Gunner was taking the game seriously, and it was just kickball. So I'm watching, I'm monitoring it. But thing is though, I'm so exhausted, I'm so tired to where I'm being present in the moment. So like the tired feeling or effect wasn't affecting me because I was still being present with what was going on. But I was slowing down karma in real time because I'm just being more aware of my higher perspective on the higher timeline. So when Jace and Gunner were going back and forth, Jace has a sister named Kirsten, and Kirsten was calming Gunner down. Thank you. Kirsten was calming Gunner down, and Gunner kept going back and forth, just saying like, he was just saying just little kid stuff. Like I wasn't getting in tune with it because I was just like, bro, it's just childish. I was like, bro, y'all stop, get y'all stuff, let's go up front. Woo, thank you. And that's when they were going back and forth, and I'm sitting here making sure everything is gathered up, all the tables are good, the chairs are good. So as the other coworker, as she gets the stuff and she goes into the closet, all of a sudden I hear Gunner talking about what'd you say about my dad? Some of my dad dying, and then Jay says something, but they were like talking amongst each other, and they're so little. I don't really put myself in their conversation, but I'm being aware of what's going on, but they're so little. I'm looking at other kids, making sure that all the balls are picked up. So I'm like, hey, y'all gonna get that stuff over there. Hey, go over there. Okay, everybody good? Now look, and Gunner storms by me because Gunner's a chubby kid. So I want to say he weighs close to 200 something pounds, and he's only in elementary school. So that's a problem, but nobody's gonna speak up on that. He shoves me out the way to go and put his hands on Jace, and Jace is little than him, way more little. I want to say Jace gotta be, Gunner to me has to be 5'4", 5'5". Jace gotta be 4'11", 5 foot, 4'10" of that. And when Gunner moved me, I was like, but what the fuck is going on with you? So I'm looking, I'm like, oh no. So the thing is too, Gunner is basically outweighing Jace. So as I'm sitting here, I got my bag on, it's time to go, and I'm looking, I was gonna ask for help. As I look around, nobody's there to help me. So then that's the problem with this establishment too. They should have had somebody else checking in on what was going on, but nobody's there to see what's happening in front of my face. So I'm looking like, damn, I can't call for help. So I have my bag on, I got my map book in my bag as well for doing work before I go into work. And then I'm sitting here looking like, bro, what the hell? So for like, these are not my kids. For once, these are like not my kids. So for one, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I got to figure out how to do this fast without even really thinking about it. I grabbed Gunner, and a middle schooler named Kavion, he grabs Jace. Excuse me. And I appreciate Kavion for that. So when Kavion is grabbing the other boy, Jace, I'm grabbing Gunner, and I'm trying to get him off of Jace, but they're still going. They're throwing punches and stuff like that. So I'm like, Gunner, stop, bro. Like, what the fuck is you doing? So I get him off, Kavion gets Jace off, and Gunner is like, he's screaming, huffing and puffing, backing up. I'm looking at Jace. Gunner ends up throwing my bag across the gym floor, and I look at him, and he couldn't even look at me, but he's sitting here spazzing. I said, hey, let's go. Let's go. So all the kids are just looking. It wasn't a lot of them, but the kids were looking like, what the hell is going on? And they're so young, they don't know how to question it. They're just witnessing what transpired. But supposedly from what I heard, Gunner, he's been doing this. So Gunner is probably the most problematic child just because of his trauma. So what I noticed, like when he threw my computer, I wasn't even mad because my baby's still good. She's intact and all that. And even my tripod, my charger. But I was thinking to myself, I'm not going to sit here and lash out because of what this child did. Because I know that my anger could get the best of me. I ain't gonna let it happen. Because if something was to happen, his mother is paying for that. I hope she would know that. But it's all good though. So we're not even mad because nothing was broken. My bottle was still good. So as we're about to go, a mother is in the hall. She's on the phone by the bathroom. And then Gunner, the thing is, I'm walking with Gunner so that he doesn't attack Jace. Kavion got Jace in front of me. We're walking to the front. And this is what's crazy. The gym is in the back to where the counselors had to be able to see what's happening in the back. And the people in the front, they're just witnessing the parents coming in and out, or just different people to drop off food or supplies or whatever. They handle that stuff in the front, so they don't know what goes on in the back. We have to walkie-talkie that, and then that's when the message gets transmuted up there to where now they encrypt on the consequence or decision that has to go on. So as they're going up, Gunner ends up slamming. He throws his bag. Literally, he gets his bag, throws it past this lady named Miss S. Miss S is at the front, and she's looking like, what the hell is going on? And her mom's on the phone, and she's by the boys' bathroom, and Gunner literally stops. Like, I'm walking. I'm like, he better not do it. And then as we're walking, he was crying and stuff, tearing up. And then I was like, he's gonna do it. He stops in front of the lady, throws his bag, and says, "Ah! Ah!" I was like, I'm looking. I'm thinking to myself, really? And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm so sorry that, you know, this carbon woman had to witness this. And what's even crazier, James's adopted dad came in, or uncle or grandpa, whatever, got him, and they looking like, what the fuck? His mom, Gunner's mom, Lily, happens to walk into the door. This shit was so crazy. It happened so fast that they were surprised at my reaction, but I'll get into that in a little bit. And so this man screaming, I said, hey, all that screaming is not necessary. Let's go ahead and walk up to the front so that we can go ahead and get this shit situated. His mom comes in. She didn't even sign him out. She walks him to the back and is like, hey, what the hell's going on? Talking, saying what happened. I bring Jace up there, and then Jason and I are talking. And that was when James ended up leaving. The other kids ended up leaving. But his sister, Jace and his sister are still there in the front. So when James left and the other kids left, now it's just Gunner and then the other kids. So what I realized is that his mom, Gunner's mom, went into the back of the classrooms, towards classroom 2 and classroom 1. So when you walk past the bathrooms, you got classroom 2, which is my classroom, classroom 1. Then you got a straight wall. To your left, you got the closet for the balls, and then like you got the blocks, all this other stuff that the kids can play with. And then you got the gym. Then you got the kitchen over here. Then you got the outside towards the backfield. So towards that backfield, they were towards classroom 1. And then as we're in the front, I'm talking to Jason, waiting for his mom. Well, his mom's not here, but waiting for his ride to happen or to come into realizing what is happening. So Miss H, she kept asking me. So now I realized too that the adults were being nosy, asking what happened, this and that. And it's crazy that I was just the one in the fire. Like I got thrown to the wolves, basically. So where it happened so quickly that I didn't want to tell them what happened because y'all left me to fend for myself. Excuse me. And I didn't want to tell them that up front, but I was just like, just stop talking to me. Because what really happened wasn't that serious. Like, it was serious. And the thing is, too, I did write it up as well. So, and I was honest as well. I'm not going to sit here and make Jace the bad guy when Jace defended himself. So I literally told in the offense letter that I wrote down so that Gunner can get written up, I said Gunner was the initiator. Gunner was the one that started it, and they constantly have problems with this child, but yet they still keep coming back. I know somebody's like, bro, this child needs to go ahead and go. They need to go ahead and leave this establishment or something. I know, I agree with you. And then the thing is too, Miss S said the exact same thing, but nothing changes when nothing changes. So that's exactly why this being will keep on doing this behavior, because nothing changes. When the child keeps on getting coddled and keeps having their behavior allowed and accepted in the household and in this establishment, what do you think will keep on transpiring? That was my first experience with a child like that, to where it happened in slow motion. Everything was so slow. I wasn't even mad that it happened. I was just disappointed with seeing that with my own 2 eyes. That's just how I felt. It was just very disappointing to really witness that. 'Cause I just said to myself, damn, you didn't have to do that to that boy. And I know that we all go through things in life, but you cannot let your past dictate how you treat people, because you will become the most hated being if you don't control your emotions. And I just noticed too, a lot of the boys been whining a lot. Just as his full moon in Aries has just shown that these kids are looking for validation. They're looking for attention. And when these kids get smart with me, I say, you know what? Y'all can have time. I don't care. People, like, they don't realize I can sit there for hours and they don't have to go outside. Like, going outside is a privilege. I want them to go outside and have fun. But if you don't listen, if you can't sit down, if you keep saying 6, 7, if you keep doing stupidity and you know that you shouldn't be doing it, not saying that you can't have fun and be a kid, but when you're being annoying, when you're bullying kids, you're antagonizing people, you're playing a victim, when you're throwing paper airplanes, when you're talking back, being disrespectful to each other and fighting, I'm not going to sit there and allow that. I'm not going to scream or yell at you. That takes too much energy, especially with where I am in life. I'm so focused on my purpose and my future right now. I don't have time to sit here and deal with somebody else's child. That's for them to go and handle when they get home. In this establishment, I'm going to give you 20 or 25 minutes. Not only just that, we all got time. Also, if you don't want to have time, you better check your classmates, because if not, everybody has to pay. And the thing is, too, we can even go outside and I'll make sure that your child will sit there and watch the other kids play till I'm ready to let them go and go play. What I realize is that my truth feels like a rejection to people who reject themselves because they don't want to find that truth. Because I never seen myself in this realm of not being respected or not being hated on or just whatever. I understood that me shining my illumination shows that other beings are still finding a beneficial stage in their life to walk on because they can't find their light to walk on. So when they witness me doing this, I know that my truth offends the comfort that they're programmed by. And because these people are programmed by what they find comfort in, it's uncomfortable to let my light walk in the darkest part of their life because I won't let how they feel faze me. Every day, I just begin to understand no matter how tired I am, no matter how much homework I have, no matter how many things are going on in my reality, whenever I hit this record button, whenever I get these topics going, nothing else matters. I'm basically living in peace. I'm living in bliss because these are the things that can help bring us into what really matters. And that's basically being present in the game that we asked to learn a lesson in. Well, we didn't really ask, but we initiated this lesson to coming into our life because that's basically what we wanted so that we can conquer what we had to experience and witness. Even these rapture, I forgot about that in these notes, these rapture dates. I noticed that many people keep pushing the rapture dates, so I realized as well, there's one content creator or this fear merchant, this religious illusionist. They keep talking about this rapture date happening as far as the 7th and the 8th and the 9th. And he was talking about Jesus Christ will descend down from the sky or the clouds. And when that happens, 3 days of darkness will come upon the earth. And yet and still the sun was shining even yesterday. And even still, when the sun shines today around 6 or 7, it's still going to be sunny outside. So these people are just showing you that they're doing it for clout. They're doing it for attention at this point, and they need to get some help. So I understood that the rapture that we know or understand is just beings coming into the awakening of activating their highest awareness that can signal higher consciousness to where they can embody the Christ within. Because the rapture was always internal. And the thing is, many people are going to wait for a title to come into the sky and split open their mind. But realistically, we already shifted into these dimensions by doing the work internally. And that's why we got to detach from old timelines. So the Julian or the Gregorian calendar does nothing for us in this time period, because no matter if you follow the Gregorian or Julian or the Mayan calendar, it does not matter, because spiritually, calendars never existed to our being. So if you're following timekeeping, then you're literally conformed and you're stuck and you're enslaved by time in itself, and time is enslaved to itself. So that means you're also still merged with this third dimensional realm that never matters. So when people are transcending into different realms that require them to become their best self, and you still are stagnant in your old destination in your mind, so where you're wondering what's going on with you, that's because you're not doing the work. You still think as if something outside of you is coming to save you, and nothing came to save you yet. And not only just that, the being that you think is coming to save you can't even save itself. So why would you think that this being will come and save you when you haven't even saved yourself yet? I understood as well that as I see all these beings being wounded, I'm holding space for the wounding of these solar observations within the youth and the elders as well. Because the chaos that I see in children is just basically their pain resurfacing from generations to come as well. And I understood as well that I'm witnessing karma express itself before my perception. And I learned how to guide it with my presence and not controlling it. So because I witnessed the chaotic things that have been going on in work, so I'm pretty sure a lot of things have happened at work to where I don't want to talk about it because it's like, damn, it's really despicable to witness to where I don't think requiring it it's negative. It's really just negative at this point. And this is really different from the other stage. But this situation right here, what's been going on, I had to go ahead and just express that. But, and the thing is, when I was showering as well, just recently, I just wanted to go and get my thoughts out. I was just showering earlier and just guiding this presence of chaos. I understood that when they see what I'm going through, they do whatever they can to either, push me to the edge or to help me out, to lift up a burden that other people are witnessing. But all I'm doing is just witnessing what they had to go through. Because a coworker, Coach V, asked me, do you think our life is predetermined and do you believe in free will? I love that question because it's like, no. Yes and no, but no, I don't believe in anything. I don't believe in free will. But our life is predestined. So once I understood that, once I understood Gematria, the way numbers are, the way life moves and operates, it was meant to be. So I don't get mad at things happening because with a certain time, second, minute, day, hour, whatever, that was going to happen whether I wanted to or not. So because we know that, I can just sit there and become this safe haven for people to come to, and they are going through things. But I should not control anything out of my own controlling. All I can control is my reaction. So what can't be controlled? These beings, their karma cannot be controlled because they can't even witness their life. They don't even know that they're being in the body, but they're not in the body. They don't even realize those two contradictions in itself. I realize my exhaustion because I'm birthing another version of myself. So because I'm going through a level of being tired, I did take a nap as well around 7, woke up around 11, well, really 12. But I understood that spiritually, I'm pushing myself through the labor that transpires into the physical to where I'm upgrading, shedding, and transmuting different layers that are invisible to everybody else except my future self. I might just sneeze. Woo, thank you. Woo. So, because I'm doing that, that's all I can focus on. Because every day I ask myself, what does the new version of myself look like? When I can think about these old time periods that I used to want to have a feeling in. But because I don't want to feel anything in this moment, that's what makes the feeling bittersweet. Because I'm enjoying what I'm experiencing, but I'm witnessing my future at this moment. Because I can wake up every day early, late, make a video, and that's my day. I don't mind doing that every day because it's not that hard to do. And I think it's more challenging to do more than 5 videos than it is to do 1 or 2 now. Because it used to be a challenge to do 1 video because it was the action behind the thought. But now when we started just doing 1 or 2 constantly, I just said, let's just go ahead and up it. So once we got to 5 to 7 every single day, even 4 every single day, but 5 every single day, that became more of a challenge just because I said, damn, it became too easy to even do that. So that's just me noticing that I'm upgrading my information, upgrading my leveling as far as signaling my higher self to give me more information that can challenge me so where I can elevate through different obstacles that I don't see a challenge in. And as I noticed that people don't see the version of myself that I'm becoming because they're holding on to who I used to be. And the thing is too, who I used to be was still just a younger version of who I am today. So these things never changed. You were just seeing the evolution loop being affected by what I wanted to witness myself experiencing the whole entire time. And then I noticed that too, I'm in a quiet phase of my life because it's about to start getting more loud. And the thing is too, because I sense a major, massive energetic radiation coming into my life, it's because the way I feel about this void is showing me that this sacred intelligence is telling me to be consistent. By doing that, the breakthrough that I'm going through shows that I don't need to become scared or even flinch whenever I'm sitting in silence, but embrace what that silence will bring to me, because my consistency shows that the universe respects that I never give up. Because I never give up, my greatness will have to express how much work it was putting in when nobody else was watching. 333 for the confirmation. So that's exactly why I enjoy sitting in silence. I enjoy taking like long showers and just being able to witness what I went through, but not saying, damn, bro, like beating myself up for it or even feeling sad. Because I noticed too, towards the end when both of the kids left, Gunnar and Jace, they were looking at me. It was just all the women coworkers. They were looking at me. I don't know how to describe that, but it was just like a shocking or a sad or unfortunate facial expression. And I'm thinking to them, I'm just ready to make a video. I mean, y'all are sitting here daunting over what just happened. Hey, it happened. These things will happen in the youth. So y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I mean, shit don't change. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and just keep on pondering over what just, nah. But yeah, this is why this super moon or this full moon is amplifying hidden tensions and having us be in clarity so that we can push ourselves into letting the truth internally push into the surface. Excuse me. So the thing is, what this full moon is doing for us energetically, cosmically, it's telling us that we had to answer this call that we should have woken up to a long time ago, because we're being a spark for ourselves. It is pushing us to stop hiding and begin acting into our authenticity, because this full moon is basically sharpening and revealing to you through the illusion of what you had to stop avoiding. All things that people are avoiding, they had to be able to wake up to it. So if you've been called to express yourself, if you have been called to say your truth, if you have been called to work on something or to do something, stop hiding from that, stop avoiding that, because you cannot run away from who you're being. Also realize as well, it's going to intensify the conflicts on the inner side of us and the outer side of our perception. Because as the sun is opposite in Libra, and I could be wrong as well with the astrological alignments, but the people who study astrology, who are very well informed in that lane, you know where I'm going with that. But the tension between this me and I and we will keep on growing, it'll keep on increasing, because people have to reject not only just my truth, but your truth as well, and their truth as well, because that's a part of the polarity playing out on an intensity within relationships as far as themselves. So if you notice, and I'm just basically telling you what we're going to witness from October to December, even on social media and in real life. We got to realize as well that the conflict that we have with ourselves is not conflict, because we already learned how to control our ways. So because we don't have a battle within ourselves, we know that, of course, the battle is self. As you're growing, other people are watching you grow. Even if you don't know it or you don't acknowledge it, people are watching you grow. Because they watch you grow, that's a battle inside of them that they don't want to acknowledge. They don't want to hold themselves accountable for what they keep holding on to. So now they're watching themselves battle out their perception of you inside of them, to where when you come or you walk past or you walk across from them in their path, that's when you'll see how strong that hatred has been amongst themselves placed onto you. So it's not your fault, but you're seeing the intensity of other people's conflicts happening with them. It'll come onto you. So you have to be able to understand how to play in polarity. It's all alchemy work. It's also the third key point I realized, it's a demanding of emotional release and boundary setting. So all these old contracts, all these suppressed thoughts that we thought we had truth in, and the obligations as far as energy that became misaligned, they either had to be expressed in this moment where you talk about them out loud, or you have to get rid of them at this moment. Because if you don't, the full moon is basically showing you that you have to see what you keep hiding. Because if you don't release or let go or even say what's holding you back, or what's keeping you stagnant in your journey, then you will never go through these obstacles and you'll remain in the exact same spot that you were in years ago. Meaning, for example, where I was last year, where I am today is a major jump. Because I set that boundary. I put myself into a different alignment so where I didn't want to be in the same predicament. I wanted more for myself. And here I am today. Every day, it hasn't hit me that I still have my own spot, if that makes sense. I've always been around a roommate or been in my mom's spot or just been somewhere to where it was always just somebody else. But, excuse me, being able to have my own bathroom, being able to have my own room, being able to have my own groceries, my own stuff, that feels good. Excuse me, being able to have a new computer, a new MacBook, just being able to still have the different things that I've been had, but I'm missing a new environment, that feels better because I demanded something different. I got rid of my old emotions and I told myself I want to accept a different way of living. So I had to place myself into a different truth that I can now agree in silently. That's why all the things that gotta still have manners when I do that. All the things that I've expressed to myself in my room or behind closed doors, and you see, because as y'all can see, I love coming to this space just because it's like another room outside of my house. So I'm not in my house, but I'm basically near the gym and all that. So some of y'all who know, the pool's not that far, gym right there, and then the front towards the kiosk where you do your stuff, or whatever you want to call this stuff. This is where you will go. Now, the other thing as well, notice, the full moon is also magnifying all the things that are out of alignment. So all the things that I just told you that happened as far as with me, notice what has happened with you, and notice what has happened with your peers or your friend group, your classmates, co-workers, other people as well, even social media. And this can be in belief systems, relationships, or in a program. But this full moon is making many things magnify under the spotlight that you put a eye witness to. Because society and different conspiracies and different games that people are witnessing, they're way more vivid than how they used to be. All the things that are out of alignment, we are now seeing them amplify every single day because we're witnessing, we're paying attention to what people have been missing the message in. That's why now with every video that we make, even this year, this month, so on and so forth, the message should keep on getting clear. All the things that are outside of us are distractions. They never mattered. And all they can do is make sure that you forget your higher self and your purpose. Not saying that you should go out here and just kill people for no reason, take from people, not work on yourself, be lazy, and expect something new to change because you wanted that to happen for you. No, you still got to do the work. You still have to not only place love into your life, but move within that love radiation. Because bringing that vibration into your life is the best way for that path to open up, for you to start walking clearly into. And then lastly, I noticed that it's going to accelerate the window for ourselves to keep working internally in, so where now that work that we've been doing will show the gifts that come into our life, how much progress we made by what society is now wanting to follow. And the thing is, I say that because we are in a supermoon phase, which is closer to the earth and brighter and becoming more potent. The energy is stronger and it's becoming it's a more immediate influence, not only just on us, but everybody else as well. Even though they don't know it, we're just above the knowing that society sleeps to. And that's why we shouldn't be sitting back quietly at this time of our life, because the cosmic energies and the alignment of the lunar cycle is showing us that we have to demand better choices, healthier choices, movement and awakening in everything that we do and decide to think about. Which is exactly what I noticed too, while I was witnessing slow motion in the time of karma playing itself out. It's because, like I mentioned earlier, my awareness is moving faster than the event itself, because I'm operating from a higher timeline for my perception. So where I'm not reacting to a moment, but I'm reading the energy before the moment even welcomes itself into playing itself out into the exact same loop that it wanted to just run a race in. And then for the conclusion as well, for more key points, because I basically covered, so that was 10, well, basically 12, but I got some more for y'all just because I just want to give y'all some information. When our consciousness is ahead of the collective moment, our chaos will basically slowly replay itself into what we already sense, and our peace will become a reaction, not our detachment. Since I've been witnessing myself in peace, I noticed that nothing can get me out of character, even playing 2K26. That right there gets on my nerves because every day having to play against the same dull gameplay, fading to the left, fading to the right, hiding behind screens, it's boring and tiring. And it doesn't even get frustrating going against 7'4", 7-footers, them shooting over me being 6'8", me making a layup, and then 2K, it's in the green window, but 2K will say I missed it. It's just like, okay, okay, cool. Doing a behind the back and I lose it on somebody's foot, that's not a kickball violation, but whenever I'm playing defense or my teammates, we're playing defense, and then we get a steal by deflecting it with the square or whatever, or even with our body, it's a kickball violation. Some of the stuff you can't even get upset with, you just have to laugh and just keep on moving because everything's a test of time. And if we're paying for certain things as an adult, think about that. As an adult, if you're paying for a video game, or if you're paying for something, if you're paying for an addiction, and you're letting your addiction get you mad, should you stop playing with that addiction at that point? That's why all the money I invested in 2K, I'm not going to let 2K make me stop playing the game. No, I'm going to be the best, and the people that I'm with as well, we're going to be the best to ever play the game. And yeah, it'll be a bunch of people who are better because they put in more hours, and that's fine. I don't care to sit here and be the best 2K player in the world because I don't have that many hours played. As you can see, it's 3:45 a.m. We're making a YouTube video. I could be in the room grinding right now, but I said, no, I want to make more videos for today. Why? Because it's fun to just be aligned with what really matters. Because that'll come and go. Realistically, the game will always be there. But this is how we find ourselves, by seeing what consciousness will never explain. Excuse me, I realize as well that I'm not numb to situations, I'm just basically being prepared because what I witnessed, or I gotta stop saying that, let me put a new word for witness. As I spectated earlier, I was spectating embodied foresight. And that's because I've already experienced it energetically. So in the physical, that moment could never shock me because I've seen these things already numerous times, even in my childhood. And it was just unpleasing to really see my coworkers give me that facial expression like, why don't you have a reaction to what happened? That's what happens when kids are being kids. It's not that serious. I'm just surprised it happened like that, but I didn't think it would happen this soon. I thought it would happen sooner, but it's early in the year. That's where I'm at. When things are going on, I don't really just be like, whoa, did y'all? No. Everybody's seen it, but my thing is, damn, that came earlier than I expected. I noticed that, and the things that you may wouldn't, or the things that you, God, I keep realizing that word right there. Let me see. No, more words for witness. You will keep seeing more evidence exhibit along these days as far as more people are going to fight the mirror and not the message. Because your truth, my truth, and many of the people who are speaking that truth through love, it'll keep exposing itself. And a lot of people are going to lash out on messengers, and that's never going to stop. But that's because they were never ready to see their own reflection. That's why you never take it personal. It's all just a projection and not rejection. They're not rejecting you. They rejected who they wanted to be, and they can't be that. So they're going through this battle that they had to face. Don't beat yourself up for it. That's not your reflection. But your reflection could be that if you lost your way into what their ways are stuck in. The next one. A lot of egos are going to fade and burn out because they're trying to survive in a newer energy. that they're not ready for. Because many people are clinging to having that image control or just control in general, or they want to fall in love with a false identity so that they can experience a breakdown and never overcome it. That's why they had to go through emotional outbursts, have irrational behavior, and they had to go through this detachment from wanting to find a better version for themselves today. And the thing is too, we had to let them fade away because they can no longer serve a purpose that means something to us. So if they aren't able to show the truth in what they follow daily, then they can't serve a life close to yours, because all it will do will just keep you in the same exact processing that their mind thinks in. And that pattern cannot recognize what you had to start recognizing or realizing. Many observations that were quiet will begin to start speaking out some more. So many people who didn't use their platform, who didn't use their accounts to start expressing themselves and their thoughts of what they always thought about, they will now start doing this. All the beings who were quiet, they will question the simulation around them. When they do this, we'll notice way more people as well knowing their awakened journey, and they'll basically seek out a presence to where their insight will become more confident, it'll be more bold. And then all the people who are seeing the life for what it is, they won't be scared of saying that out loud. And so now the collective will start gradually increasing their knowledge into what people have been trying to trap society into expecting to learn about. Like, these people on the internet, they want you to learn about their way of living. So that way of living is not life. And that way of life is how you die while living in this life that's supposed to help you see how you were supposed to live by observing the love you have for your observation in the physical. We had to expect timelines to split silently, and it's going to be a sharpening towards our mind and start putting way more concentration into where we're going in. So many different conversations, decisions, and thoughts are going to shift our whole trajectory, because we're going to feel ourselves being pulled away from jobs, situations, from people, family, drama, just whatever. All these things are going to show us a whole different redirection into a different timeline. So as you notice all the people fading away, all the jobs letting you off or you finding something else, all these hobbies coming into your life, all the people that you're unfollowing, these things had to happen. They had to happen. Because the life that you used to live from yesterday and this simulation, remember, you are just in a quantum computing. When you move this quantum overlay of what you were depicting and you encrypt a new different ciphering for a different lane of life that you want to be a spectator in, that's when you are redirecting your whole entire awareness into a different figment of your own imagination. The next one, the energy will show everything before behavior gets to do it, because we can sense who's off in the head, who's off spiritually, mentally, empathetically, excuse me. And we'll notice that before they even say or do anything, because our intuition has to constantly have an upgrade. And as we pay attention to how somebody's feeling in their own presence, we get to see who they are without them having to show us who they are in that moment, because we're witnessing. We're showing them illustrate what they identify with. As far as, we get to see a guarantee in what they profess out loud by what they show us. In their presence, when you see them about to react, you don't follow their reaction. You don't control their reaction by controlling your reaction. No, all you do is notice how you feel, notice how you're looking, stay calm in a moment, and watch what happens. The next one, your peace is going to, and I say going to because your peace is going to start offending more people's pain than it ever did before. Because the more aligned and grounded you are being, the more it will bother everybody else who is addicted to chaos, because you are choosing to be present over their performance. Because they are performing for everybody else, you don't care for that performance and you're not entertained by it. And the thing is, it's really beneath you and it's boring as well to watch. Because of that, they're going to get upset with you and they may retaliate by doing things. That's why you have to always watch your surroundings. Even if you're close to them, even if you don't know them, watch your surroundings. Even if you are by yourself, never let anybody disrespect your ego. I don't care if it's your family or friends or a stranger. Never let anybody disrespect your ego, because the more you're grounding yourself on this journey, the more peace you are coming into play with. You cannot let go of that feeling. When you do that and they see that and they're showing themselves how you lost your way, they'll have more control over you. Don't let them do it. Lastly, the synchronicities are going to be intense now that you're moving into the alignment, because numbers, for example, dreams, symbolism, deja vu, all these things will come into your life and you'll notice it and expect it way faster, because nothing is a coincidence, for one. Not only just that, two, you're vibrating finally in the same exact frequency as a path that you taught yourself to travel along before you had a body to walk into. That's exactly why the more you keep witnessing these different vibrations, that's telling you that everything that's like when we said 333, that right there, I don't believe in, I don't care for angel numbers, I don't care for synchronicities, but that synchronicity is a checkpoint of what you're going to do at that exact same time. So it's your higher self telling you. So if it was 444, for example, if I'm doing what I know I was going to do at 444, that means that what I'm doing was supposed to happen. It was predestined, meaning that I memorized the future happening at that moment. So because I was able to catch it in the alignment of where I'm observing myself flowing, that's why the energy in that exact stage that I'm acting in becomes amplified into the awareness that we have our higher self being formed in. Overall, just stay conscious of what you're about to come across, because don't be surprised by what is happening. These things have to happen because people are losing their way in life. People think one way in certain things and people do certain things because that's their programming. Don't get upset about it. Just watch yourself react, observe how you have to move from this point forward, and be appreciative of all that we have talked about and learned about. Not only just that, what are you talking about for yourself? What are you learning about? What are you reading about? What are you doing for you when the cameras aren't on, when the TV isn't on, when you're not in school, when you're not at work? What are you doing when you're in your room when the door is closed? All you have is you. And if you're not working for a better you to get you into a whole different scenario or a whole different lane that you can sit back and enjoy the fruits of your label or the fruits of your labor, then you're not working hard enough to where you can't label yourself to say, damn, I can rest and be appreciative of my works. No, you can appreciate anything if you haven't put in the work into where you want to be in life. And to be there, what should you be doing right now when this video cuts off? Have a great Divine Day, Divine Reflection.